2020 has been a scary year already with everything that's going on in the world. But today we're going to make it even more scarier as I talk about real life aliens and scary disappearances. So stick around for today's top 10 list. Starting off this countdown, we have LLOYD. On May 10th, 2020, 47-year-old LLOYD disappeared from her home in Missouri without a trace. It was Mother's Day and her daughter stopped by to visit, but when she got there, her mom was nowhere to be found. She figured maybe she was just out, so she left her Mother's Day card and flowers on the porch. But that week she began to worry when her mom wasn't answering her cell phone or the home phone. Her car, purse, wallet, and IDs were all at home, but her cell phone, keys, and gun were missing. Her whereabouts are still unknown. She hasn't used her phone or filled her prescriptions since she disappeared. There is an investigation currently underway, but so far there are no big leads. In our ninth spot, we have the UFO sightings. Earlier this year, the Pentagon released footage of what is said to be aliens. Ever since then, the number of UFO sightings around the world have increased. But one woman has a pretty terrifying story of her own. So Barbara White was spending time outside on her porch with her family. Her sons were over having a physically distanced visit, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a big oval object appeared in the sky. The next thing she remembers is a bright flash of light coming down from the sky. Next thing she knew, she woke up on the grass 10 feet from her front door. Her sons were gone. Here's where it gets weird. When she called her sons in a panic asking where they were, they said that they were at home. So they got home safely and don't recall seeing the UFO or the bright light. But Barbara does. This story just creeps me out. Like, aliens are out there and messing with our minds or something. Like, they probably ran some tests on Barbara. Coming in at number 8, we have the car date. So during lockdown, obviously you aren't allowed to go see anyone but your family or the people that you live with. But this couple decided to break lockdown protocols and meet up anyways. And honestly, they kind of got what they deserved. So basically, one night the young couple snuck out and met up at a park. They were hanging out in their car, you know, doing some things, when all of a sudden they saw a man at the park. They stopped fooling around and just watched the man, who was watching them back. Slowly he began creeping closer and closer. At one point he sat on a swing that was close to their car and just sat there watching them while swinging back and forth. The couple got really creeped out and decided to leave, but when they flicked on the headlights, it illuminated the guy's face and they saw that it was covered in blood. Okay, I would never sleep again if that's what happened to me. But also, that's what you get for breaking lockdown protocols. Coming in at number 7, we have the ride alone. This next story was posted on Reddit by the user Oxidias. So at the beginning of January, her mom was out driving at night when all of a sudden some guy ran out from the forest and right in front of her car. Thankfully, she reacted quickly and was able to stop in time. She was about to get out of the car to see if the man was okay, but as she opened her door, 3 other men emerged from the forest around her. They then approached the car and tried to use the door handles to get in. Thankfully, she was able to lock the doors quick enough and then got out of there as fast as she could. Had she not reacted quick enough, who knows what would have happened to her. Coming in at number 6, we have the lockdown. One of the worst parts about 2020 is the lockdown. Not being able to go out or see your friends, it took a toll on everyone. But this one family has one of the creepiest lockdown stories ever. So the family was at home eating dinner when someone rang their doorbell. The family, being hesitant to open the door, looked out the side window and they saw a disheveled looking man pacing back and forth. They decided not to open the door for him, which was honestly a good call. If it were a horror film, that family would have probably been really naive and just opened the door for him. But they didn't open the door and this enraged the man. He began pounding on the door saying, "I know you're home, open up." The man then proceeded to walk around the house and bang on different windows. He even tried getting in through the side door and back door. Eventually the police showed up, but the man was gone before they could get him. Imagine that. So this creepy, crazy guy is still on the loose somewhere. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't sleep again for weeks if that happened to me. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the ghost head. So this photo was posted on Reddit by the user Oopie Spoopy Man. It was actually posted fairly recently. The backstory to the photo goes as so. Apparently this user was hearing taps and strange noises coming from his kitchen. But it was dark in there and they were afraid to run in and turn on the light, so they decided to use their phone to take a picture of the kitchen. Maybe see if there was like a raccoon or something that got in. But what they caught on camera was far more terrifying. So this is the image that the individual took. If you zoom in right by the door, you can see like a little pale ghostly face peering around the corner. That is the creepiest thing ever. I hope that person moved out the second they captured that. In our fourth spot, we have the cabin in the woods. This next couple decided it would be a good idea for them to go up to their family's cottage to self-isolate there. So they're up at the cottage, which they described as being pretty old and basically down a long dirt road in the middle of a small town. They have limited cell service. So one night they woke up to the sound of footsteps on the roof. They ignored it, thinking that it was some sort of animal or something. A little while later, they were disturbed by the sound of someone scraping on their glass window. The man got up to check, and that's when he saw a tall, hooded figure wearing a mask standing at the window looking in, and not a medical mask, like a creepy Halloween mask. He freaked out and woke up his girlfriend, but she was unresponsive. He then called 911, and when they arrived, they told him that they both had suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. It knocked his girlfriend completely unconscious, and it caused him to get really bad hallucinations. Thankfully, they both survived the situation. But still, that's terrifying. Moving on, number 3, we have the haunted house. So it turns out that this year there have been an increased amount of ghost sightings. More and more people are reporting that their homes are haunted. It's probably because we are spending more time than usual cooped up inside, so now we're just realizing that our homes are haunted. Or the ghosts are getting bored being stuck in the house with us all day. This next story was posted on Reddit by the user sad_ghost. She starts off the story by saying that her and her family already knew that their house was haunted since the first day they moved in. But over the course of the pandemic, the hauntings increased. Apparently, back in the day, an electrical fire happened at the house, and that took the lives of the people living there. Now, the Reddit user claims that she has seen a skeleton-looking man often standing in the spot where the fire started. She has also seen a creepy lady in the basement, but she often avoided her. One day, she was with her mom's boyfriend's little daughter when all of a sudden she looked up at the doorway and said, "What happened to her teeth?" When she was asked about it, she said, "I saw a woman. Her name is Candy. Her teeth were all broken." And apparently the woman wouldn't stop showing the girl her teeth, so that's why she said, "What happened to your teeth?" It's probably because she ate too much candy. But seriously, that story sent shivers down my spine. In our second spot, we have the blue tent. This next creepy story was posted on Reddit 11 months ago by Cosmic Comics. So this individual was out walking in the woods when they saw a blue tent, but the tent was all beat up and collapsed. They ignored it and kept walking. Then they came across a section of the woods filled with torn pieces of paper. When they got closer, they realized that it was pages from Stephen King's The Shining. It did creep them out, but they thought it's probably just some kids fooling around. That was until a couple days later, the news released a story about a missing man who had been found. He was found dead in his blue tent in the woods. Meaning, when they walked by the tent on their hike, the dead man's body was lying in there. And in our number 1 spot, we have the valley. So this next story was posted on Reddit, and I don't really know the validity of it. But basically, the Redditor says that she lives in a small town. During the pandemic, one way she was keeping herself busy was by going on distance walks with her friends. Well, one evening, they went out for a walk in the nearby ravine. While on their walk, they heard someone screaming for help. They yelled back, but they got no reply, so they figured someone was just messing with them. It was getting really dark and they were creeped out by that, so they decided to return home. The next day, it was reported that a body was found in the ravine, close to the location that they had been the night before. To think what might have happened if they kept on walking. It's so creepy. Alright guys, let's move right along to our comment shout out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video Top 10 Scary Siren Head Real Life Sightings. It was a marathon video. Silver Claw commented, "He's just doing his job trying to make sure people are 6 feet apart wearing masks and staying home, and those that don't get eaten." Maybe Siren Head is just, maybe he's a good guy, you know? He's just trying to keep us safe in the end, so maybe it could be. JJ Bulldog commented, "If you ever see a real Siren Head in person, would you either fight or hide?" I don't know how I would fight it. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, no weapons can defeat him. All he's gotta do is make his little noise and like burst our eardrums and then eat us. Like, if I try and run away from him, he just takes his long arm, snatches me up, I'm done. So hide. La Plaga commented, "Siren Head versus Slender Man." Ooh, that would be intense. I don't know who would win though. I think Siren Head, just because he's got a lot more abilities, I would say. Slender Man has little tentacle things, but Siren Head, he's got long arms. He can just like clap his hands and I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but Siren Head is the boss here. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya.